Today we'll bring you a little bit closer to how we've trained LinkBERT. So during the training process, as the model goes through its entire set of training data in each epoch, we notice a reduction in training loss. So as the model learns over several batches of going through the training data, it makes fewer and fewer errors in its predictions. But one of the risks associated with length of training of a model is running a risk of overfitting the model, or in other ways, getting to the point where a model is memorizing its own training data and making predictions only on it and not generalizing really well when it presented with a brand new text, for example, to make link predictions on. So while we can analyze different hyperparameters and evaluate the efficiency of the training process and the health of the training process that way, I find it really helpful to put it to inference, to actually test the model on a task. So if I give it a piece of text and I ask it to make link predictions, I'd like to see what the model actually does. So what we do during the training process that you've seen here, every time the model goes through the entire training data set, or in other words, one epoch of training, we save a checkpoint for the model. And we use its weights at that point in time to save it, and then we can make predictions with various stages of this model being in training. So at stage 1, this is the link prediction. At stage 10, this is the link prediction. So I would say that link prediction is actually a little bit worse at the checkpoint 10 than it is at checkpoint 1, which doesn't make sense, or it's not very intuitive to think about. But if you remember the first stage I was talking about, we've probably reached the stage where we're starting to overfit the model at the epoch checkpoint 10. But this is a very complex thing to look at and think about. So we have a little table aiding our analysis. So for every token, we have the prediction class, or polarity, if you will. One is this should be a link, or this should not be a link. This should be plain text, and the level of confidence for each type of prediction in this token classification task. So as we go through training, as you can see on the right, certain tokens fluctuate from not being a link to being a link and going back, and some are quite stable there. So if we look at the level of confidence at around 0 and the level of confidence of 100, we can see that most of the predictions are quite confident, with a few exceptions around 50, where the model is really not sure. Like that band here and that band there, his model is not really sure where and how to classify this token. So this is really difficult to analyze. So what we do is we use the temporal analysis as well. And out of many, many tokens that we can choose from, we select the ones that we feel make a lot of sense to be a link, like LinkBERT, bert-large-cased model, and Dejan Marketing, all named entities, all making sense to be represented as links. So if I go through the first stage of the training, epoch 1, this is the predictions for those tokens, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. And then as we navigate through every epoch, we can see how these predictions fluctuate. And I would say after epoch 10, our predictions are really, really bad. So I would say the model is overfitting at this point. And predictions in the early stages are kind of flip-flopping between the model is not really sure what to do about it. But I actually found one variant of the model where everything seems to align perfectly right at the top of the confidence for the tokens predicted to be links, and that appears to be model checkpoint 9. If we switch to checkpoint 9 here and make the predictions, process text, we will see what it actually suggests. LinkBERT fine-tuned, the BERT case, large case model, Dejan Marketing, never before seen. So this is if we go as far as half-half with the confidence level. So if we push it all the way into 90% certainty of prediction, we will see what that looks like on this final model that we predicted. So there we go. We have the final outcome, LinkBERT, BERT, large case model, and Dejan Marketing being recommended links. In this case, very high confidence scores, and we're happy with this model. And this is the model that actually ended up being used and uploaded to Hugging Face library.